Hi, welcome to another monthly studio check-in. So this is my check-in for the month of April. This is where I talk about my income for the month in my small business, my expenses, and also how my health impacted my ability to work in my business itself. So things have been a little bit tough. They were very tough during the month of April. I had a number of medical appointments I needed to attend. My health was not great during that period. So I really did struggle in my business, but I promised myself I would still turn up and I would still make this video. My name's Leanne. I'm a full-time artist and metalsmith. I have a business called Leanne Allison Designs where I sell my watercolor art and jewelry. And basically, I started this series a little bit as a visual journal so that I could look back on it and see how things are improving. Sadly, things have gone downhill from March to April. We're now into May and things are kind of a little bit more settled, but I have a lot more medical appointments and yeah, that is starting to get to me as well. So I'll talk about all of that at the end, but I'll let you know what my income was for the month and my expenses, and then we'll talk about how my health impacted, and we'll see how income and health went in their head-to-head battle. Yeah, I think you can guess what happened. So my income for the month. I made $310.25 in income in total. Now, $265.25 of that was through my business, and $45 of that was through an external source. So in my business, it was 3 different streams of income. So I made $7 through Creek and Bay. So that was commission payments for some things that I'd sold at the very end of March. $68.25 through Made It. So I sold a piece of jewelry on Made It. And $190, I made that, a friend of mine wanted some gold-filled earring wires so that she could add them to some ceramic earrings that she had made. And she asked me if I could do that, and I said yes, I would. It was partially an excuse to be able to get to see her because we haven't seen each other for quite some time. We are like ships in the night. So this was a good chance for me to be able to make these pieces for her and actually be able to catch up with her. So yeah, that total was $265.25. Now, the extra $45 I made was through Askable. I spoke about that in last month's video. It's an external site that does market research, and I did maybe a 45-minute or hour-long session with somebody where I walked through a prototype of some sort, and they paid me $45 for that. That was very welcome, that money. There wasn't a lot on Askable last month. Either I wasn't the right fit, so the person wanting to do the research didn't choose me, or there were a lot of things that just weren't my cup of tea, or I just knew that I wasn't eligible for. So yeah, it was a little bit of slim pickings in April for Askable. So yeah, basically total income was $310.25. Now, my expenses. I am very thankful that I made a little bit extra in March, because without that, I wouldn't have survived April. So I'll go through what my expenses were. So I had $25.96 for Google. That is where my emails are. $10.05 for Australia Post, so that was for postage. $27 for my Canva Pro. $15 to Made It, so that's my monthly fee for my Made It shop. I need to do a lot more work in there and be a little bit more consistent with posting in the Facebook group and stuff like that, and showing people what I've got. I just hadn't been up to it, and every time I sat down to try and work on that, I just really was not feeling well enough. So that, sorry, I'm getting a bit upset. So that was a bit hard. Then I had $15 to Oak Hill Gallery. That was my exhibition fee. So I entered a piece into the May exhibition, and that cost me $15. And then I had $35.99 for Photoshop. Now, I said last month, I like Photoshop. I like using Photoshop. There's part of me that's like, oh, this feels like an expense I don't want to have at the moment. But unfortunately, it's something that I need to keep up. So I just have to be at peace with that. So basically my, and then I had $171.27, and that was for some supplies. So some of it was for the gold-filled wire for my friend Robin, and then I grabbed some extra pieces from that supplier as well to top me up because I needed some extras. So in total, I spent $300.27, which isn't ideal when I only made $310.25. So basically, I ended up with $9.98 in my bank account. Yeah, as I said, thankfully I had made some extra in the previous month, so that has sort of kept me going a little bit. My health, it has not been good at all. Basically, we are now at the 12th of May, and I have had a headache every single day since the 31st of March. Every single day. Some days have been okay. It's just been a small headache. Other days I've been flat out in bed. I had a number of days in April where I was just not well enough to do anything. The other problem with April is we had Easter. So basically I didn't work over the Easter weekend. We also had Anzac Day, which was a Saturday. So that wasn't sort of as, it didn't affect my business as much because often I wouldn't be working on a Saturday. But yeah, with my health as well, I had a doctor's appointment, I had a headache clinic appointment, and I had 2 dental appointments. So I'll just run through the expenses there. So my doctor's appointment cost me $100, and then I got $43 back as a rebate from Medicare. It was around $43. So that ended up costing me $57. My headache specialist, he costs me $100 each session. Normally I would have had 2 in that time, but it was just where they fell. That meant that I ended up with extra in March, and I'll have extra in May. And then I went to the dentist twice. The first appointment cost me $1,326, and the second appointment cost me $474.70. So basically, my health expenses, minus any medication and all of that sort of stuff, for the month of April was $1,957.70. So that came out of our household budget, which made things a lot tougher at home. I really need to work hard on getting some other streams of income up and running. I need to make sure that I've got some other things that I can do, because after those dentist appointments, I was not able to work on the day of the appointment because I'd had teeth extracted, and then because groggy, just feeling kind of out of it, pain, all of that sort of stuff. And then even the next day I was struggling a little bit as well. So and that made my headaches worse. So I would often end up with a monster headache by the time the weekend rolled around. So, I was just losing days here, there, and everywhere. I know I will get through this. I know that I will come out the other end and things will be okay, but it kind of all feels like a lot at the moment. It just, it feels like I'm being buried by all of this stuff. Sorry, I am trying not to get upset. But yeah, as I said, I really need to get onto making some other, I can't even think straight at the moment. I need to make sure that I am setting up other streams of income. So I have got a market at the end of May at a primary school. I usually do pretty well there, so I am looking forward to that. But yeah, I need to really start working on those other streams of income. One thing that I was thinking about one of the days when I was stuck in bed is something that I've wanted to do for a really long time, and I don't know why I haven't done it. But I make seeded cards. So bear with me for a moment. So I've got handmade paper that's embedded with seeds, and then I print my art onto them to turn them into cards, and they sell so well and I love them. I'm such a little eco warrior, so it's, for me, it's something that I really enjoy selling. I need to really focus on getting a lot more of those cards made and really sort of just expand my range of seeded cards and maybe even seeded products. But I was thinking about the fact that quite some time ago, I wanted to be able to create sort of wedding invitations and save the date cards and things like that made with the seeded paper so that I could sell it here in Australia, because I still, like, a lot of people will do things electronically now. My niece is having her 21st birthday. She's basically just done it all via Facebook. That's nice, but you know, there is still something really lovely about receiving an invitation or a save the date card in the mail. And so what I want to do is to be able to make seeded versions of those so that the guests can actually plant them and grow something, hopefully. So that's an idea that I've got. And I want to be able to use my art for something different, for something fun. And so that's where the wedding invitations have kind of come into my mind. So I'll do some work around that. I've got some other ideas. I've been working on a couple of trackers that I want to use for myself. I did promise you a headache tracker for April, and it didn't happen. So I am doing it for May. The reason it didn't happen is because of my headaches. So my headache tracker didn't happen because my headaches stopped it. Every time I sat down in my spare time to try and work on those sorts of things, I had a bunch of other things to work on too. So it was about working out when I was well enough and putting a lot of focus on those really important things. And the headache tracker was kind of not as important, and it kept getting pushed to the back. And each time I tried to do it, I was not well. So yeah, my headache tracker was undone by my headaches. So I promise you I will have a headache tracker up and running for May. I'm on a roll at the moment for my longest ever stretch of headaches. I'm getting close. I've nearly equaled the record. The last record was 43 days in a row. I think I would have to look that up. But so I'm already at, almost equal to that. So we'll see how we go. My headache specialist is happy with my progress. My headaches, they're not as bad. I'm not having as many bad days in a row as I was having. If we can get that down so that I'm only having about 5 headache days a month, that would be great. At the moment, we're, 30 headache days a month. Not great, not ideal. Look, I'm going to hang in there. I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing. There is a light. There is a light at the end of the tunnel. It is very dim and it feels very, very far away, but it is there. And I just feel like I am going to be able to find my way out. So yeah, I'm going to work on doing some more seeded products. I have got my drawing for a step tracker, so I'll do another video about that. I've got some other ideas as well. So yeah, but tomorrow, the 13th of May, I have another dentist appointment. I was at the headache clinic last week. I was at the doctor last week. I just feel like I am just being buried, absolutely buried under medical issues at the moment and medical appointments. But I promise that I'm going to keep smiling and I'm going to keep soldiering on, and I will come out of this at the other end. Yeah, hopefully you are all well and everything is going okay for you. If not, please accept my love and my hugs and all of the healing vibes, because I know what it's like to be struggling. So yeah. Oh, and also I have just finished another children's book, so I'm really excited about that. So hopefully that's something that I can make a little bit of income off in May as well. So so yeah, that was my my figures for April. I made $310.25 in income. I had $300.27 in expenses, and I had $1,957.70 in health expenses, and my health well outweighed my income. So unfortunately, again, second month in a row, health won the battle over income. Oh well. Okay. Thanks for joining me. We've come to the end of another video. I promise that I will have some more artist diaries up soon so that you can see a little bit more behind the scenes about the things that I have been working on. And yeah, I will see you next time. Bye for now.